Welcome to the UnStruktured podcast. In this episode, my co-host Bob Smith and I dive into the world of artificial intelligence with creative director Allison Ross. We explore the evolving landscape of AI in the creative industry, discussing its implications for designers, musicians, and artists of today and tomorrow. Allison shares her insights on AI's potential and the importance of maintaining human agency and leadership. We also address the fears and challenges AI presents and look for balance at the intersection of technological advancement and human values. Join us as we navigate the dawn of AI, its impact on different generations, and strategies for creatives to stay ahead in this rapidly changing field. I'm Michelle Rose, and this is UnStruktured. So I want to start with saying welcome. And welcome, Allison, again to another Struktur episode event. You've been here many times in terms of not a visual podcast. I did one of my first guinea pigs, and I didn't have video of our podcast. So I'm really excited to have you on screen now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the last time, I think also our last event was this one. You guys are both right here, represented behind.
Yes.
Look at that ragamuffin.
The panel. Yeah.
That was so fun. That was our last live event. Hope to have a new one soon. But the main thing that I wanted to bring, Bob and I both wanted to bring you here and talk about AI, which is the thing that everybody is talking about right now. And instead of it feeling like, okay, everybody's on the AI train, it kind of felt like that for the last year. Everybody's jumping on, jumping off. Should we bust? Should we not? And now it's getting to that point where, yes, everybody needs to be knowing something about it is going to permeate society even more than it has. And you and I talked about this quite a while ago when you were embarking on an experience, getting in front of it and really leading AI. And what I want to do at first, before we dive in, I just want you to give a quick high level, 3 bullet points of who you are, what you do. Intro.
All right. High level. I'm a creative director. I've worked at small studios, big studios, and then started my own about 5 years ago. Oh my gosh. 2025.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
And that studio was called?
Yesterday. RIP.
Love.
Um,
Gotta give it a plug.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's good. I work with a ton of nonprofits, some for-profit brands as well. But yeah, just having fun working with people I love to work with. And gosh, what else about me? I love art. I paint. And this August, I'm going to go do an art residency in Vermont to do screen printing. And I got my band back together and we're going to play. And I'm so excited about that.
Yes. What does that mean, you got your band back together?
I was in a band a long time ago.
This is not the residency. This is something separate.
The band's going to play at the final show.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be so good. But yeah, in Vermont, I was in a band. I think we've renamed ourselves the Riviera, but it used to be called the Taliban, which I thought was hilarious. I love that. But I feel like some people are like,
what do you do in the band?
I'm rhythm guitar.
Okay. That's awesome.
That's so cool. So I have a friend who wanted to start a band, and I'm going to date myself. This is the 90s. He wanted to call it Boutros. You heard that? Yeah, right. Okay, there we go. There.
Okay, so we all have band. We all see, the thing about our community is everybody's so connected to music, and a lot of times we don't even know it. right? That's why I brought so much of it back in. Okay, we're going to dive in because we can talk about this all day too. What I want to do today, because AI is such a big thing, what I want to do today is quickly set intentions for this conversation. I want to hear each of us what our intentions are, for this conversation, because there will be more. And I thought about it and I thought, well, I really thought about what Struktur is. And for me, the intention is to activate and engage the Struktur community on a proactive path to leading AI into the future, not following it, not being afraid of it, but getting in front of it and leading it forward. And hence why you're here, Allison. All right. That's my intention. Who wants to go next?
I'm going to say something just to set you up, Allison. I'm going to, because, as a creative and art director myself, this is inescapable and it's getting more and more inescapable every day. And so I'm getting into it and like trying to figure out kind of where my entry point is and, kind of what my goals and intentions are for this thing. And when Michelle told me that you had done like kind of immersive, like deep dive into it, I was so excited because I love you and I love the way you think. So I'm really excited to hear what you have to say about it all and what your experience has been with it.
Awesome. And can we all agree right now this is a three-way talk that we can all nerd out together? Yeah. Right.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Wow.
And Michelle, I would say to you, I feel like I love to end chats with quotes, but I would love to start with a quote. Is that okay?
That's great. Anything you like.
All right. Tomorrow belongs to those who can hear it coming by David Bowie. And that is really my thought on when it comes to anything, honestly, but AI for sure.
Beautiful. It's putting your ear to the ground and with intention, right?
Wow.
Yes.
I am reading a book, Barry Diller's autobiography, who was like, I know about him because he recruited my old boss at Nike to run HSN, Mindy Grossman. Anyway, so I read it. So like he had a book and I've been reconnected with my friend Mindy and I was like, oh, I want to learn more about this guy. A lot of the themes in his book reiterating exactly what you just said, Allison, in different words, but it's like you like, if you just keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to get what you always got. Well, I love the name of your agency yesterday, RIP, because it's like, okay, well, that's already been done. I'm not really curious or interested in doing that again. So what's out there? And so a lot of the work I find myself doing is very instinctual. And you do it and you present it. And so, on good days, people go, wow, that's amazing. How did you think of that? And you just go, now I know. But, when it first started happening, you were like, well, I was kind of immersed in this one thing and it just seemed like a natural progression / evolution of whatever that was. But that is the process, is staying curious. And I had a professor back then who told me, like, he just like, you're only as good a creative director as how curious you are, right? And that's new information, that's new assimilations, that's new synthesized, putting this and that together again in a new way. And if you stop swimming, then you die, right? So if you stop taking in new information, then you don't have any new ideas. And why would you want to? Because it's just so much fun to like, go out there and just like see it all and learn it all and do it all. So
with that, Bob, I want to take that piece and move that into, what this feels like the vibe for this, putting our ear to the ground and paying attention to AI. For me, and I'm sure for everybody, it feels overwhelming, right? So there's that piece of like, stay curious, but then you go curious for, what do I pay attention to? What do I look at? It's moving so quickly. It was this and now it's this. It was crypto, now it's NFTs, and now it's not that. And now it's, Chat GPT, and now it's vibe coding. And now, well, what does all this stuff even mean? And it's coming at us so fast. So the feeling of overwhelm is coming in. And there's so much that I, have put in our thing to talk about today. We may not get to all of it at all, and that's okay. I'm going to keep us flowing so we can just talk naturally about it and keep that curious piece that Bob's talking about, and just open into that. Does that, I feel that anxiety. And one of the things that I love, Allison shared a deck with me. Allison, you did a presentation or a workshop in Austin recently, and you shared a deck with me, and the deck was overwhelming too. It was awesome.
Oh, no.
But it was also like, oh, how much of this because I already have an idea of what I want to pull in and how much of this do I want to talk about. And it's just the slides that go along with your conversation. It's not even the words. And one of the first slides you have on there is you in your personal path to AI is one I want to talk about and ask you about to start off, which it said rap lyrics.
Yeah.
Did it say rap lyrics? I want to hear about that slide.
Okay. So AI to me has been available for about 2.5 years. So the first time when I heard Chat GPT, like 3 or something, was out, I went and had to play with it, and I did what most people did, just go and try and make some rap lyrics. And that's
awesome.
That's the extent of how I used it. And it kind of felt like, do you remember in the mid 2000s, like 2005, 2006, like AOL, where you could chat with random people? That's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was my first taste of it. But then a year later, my mind started shifting to, I would say, honestly, after teaching multiple classes, doing lectures, and having students and faculty asking me about my opinion on AI, I was like, this is a wave I won't miss, and I'm going to lean into it. But it took me until, I would say, May last year, where I dove in really deeply.
Wow.
Will you tell us the story, tell Bob, because I know the story now, of why you didn't want to miss this wave? Just quickly.
Yeah,
I loved
for
that
sure.
story. That was important.
For sure. In 2000, gosh, 5 or 6, I think 2006, I graduated from university, was able to be employed by an amazing studio in Vermont. And that studio thought digital and e-commerce was a fad. So we completely missed it. And I missed it.
Do I know that studio?
Yeah, JDK.
Yeah, I'm surprised to hear you say that about them. I always thought they were so cutting edge.
No, well, they were cutting edge and still are on a cultural storytelling level.
Yeah.
We had a very small digital team, but it wasn't our focus.
Yeah.
So I feel like I learned a shit ton. Oh, sorry, swear words.
You can say
You
it.
can do it.
I know Michelle's always like, you can swear.
No, we fucking swear all the time.
You can swear extra here.
Perfect.
Well, you'll get extra brownie points if you swear.
Sorry, kids.
All right.
That's
Perfect.
a reverse swear jar.
Yeah.
Move on.
But yeah, that wasn't our specialty. Like our specialty was somewhere else, shifting culture, which was absolutely fantastic. But the whole digital world, I completely missed it. I was there for like 9 or 10 years, like went from designer to director while I was there. So yeah, I
Interesting.
guess that's why when I saw the AI wave coming, I was like, I'm not going to miss this one.
Yeah.
I'm by nature, I'm super curious, and yeah, it's
And
been fun and scary
And you
to,
had an opportunity to dive in. You had that opportunity last May, you said?
yeah. Yeah. Last May, I purposely took a month off sabbatical. I had some projects ending and new projects coming up in June. So I took a month off with the goal of just wrapping my head around AI and painting.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. And I did both. And it was so funny. I was in Salt Lake City for my students' capstone, like their final exhibition. And I was there with a friend. And I remember the first day that I was like, all right, I'm going to dig into AI. I went in the bedroom for an hour and tried to make some pictures, and they looked like shit and whatever. Came out and told him, I don't know,
Mm.
this AI is shit. And he was like, oh, I don't think you should be using AI to do things that you love doing. You should use AI to do the things you don't love doing.
Interesting. Right.
And by the end, I feel like that poor guy, he was working remotely while he was with me. And every hour I would come out and be like, you can build your own stuff to do whatever
Oh my
you
God.
want. It's amazing, incredible. And by the end of the day, I built a scope of work, GPT, that could do scopes of work for me in like 15 minutes instead of 8 hours.
Right?
Yeah, it's so crazy.
Wow.
I'm not sure everybody out there too, at least in the apparel world, even thinks about how a lot of people just don't know what a scope of work is or how to write one or that it can take that long to figure that out and how important that is. But I love hearing this because one of the first things I did, I dropped in and played with Midjourney, right? And same thing, I didn't have anybody give me any insights, so I kind of fumbled around with that. Oh, and then I went, well, I'm going to try something that's free. So I went to Adobe, to Firefly, and I started to do the generative fill instead, and putting in my own artwork at that time to see what would fill in and change my artwork to do. Because I wanted it to come from me.
Right.
And then it just kind of hit the wall at that point. And so that thinking of, oh, I'm trying to get it to work with my work or do those things that I love doing instead of those other things that you think, well, why do I want to spend time learning this digital thing, doing stuff I hate? That didn't just pop up so easily last year before when people were first thinking about it. So I think that to me, like you said, mind blown, right? So
Wow.
how about you, Bob? Have you tried any?
Dabbled, I'm not kicking and screaming, but just because of the way I'm wired, like I'll play with it. And because I have the attention span of a gnat, if I get discouraged, I'm like, well, I have a project I could be working on. So what I really admire about you, Allison, is that you set this intention to like take a month off and like really, go down in the salt mines and kind of like try and toil with it and fail. And I feel like myself, and I bet you there's a lot of people listening who are, not frustrated, but aren't making progress with AI in Midjourney specifically because you're trying to force it to do what this thing you want it to do. And that's not what it's about at all. So I think a lot of this is like, for me, it's just, kind of relinquishing control and letting it do what it does. And then kind of coming back and then accept the fact that it's not exactly what you want, that it's iterative. And then there's a learning curve and it's learning and you're learning how to work together. And so I've bookmarked enough like little lessons. And this is exactly how I suspect we all learned like Photoshop and Illustrator back in the day. It's like, you just like, well, I remember working with that, like, and Photoshop just felt like a black art to me, like back on whenever it was when it came out. I was like, how does this, what? I select the pixel. What, math? What? It was like, and then it's like driving. Now I don't even think about it. Right. So I haven't been through a few cycles of like the, software and upgrades and whatever. This feels like the same thing, kind of like you were talking with digital, Allison. It was like, oh, you know what? Here's this thing coming. And here it is. I can see it coming. There's the rise. I'm on my board. Let's get at it. Right.
Yeah. So what do we do? So like, okay, like this is how I feel with AI. There's so many platforms. There's so many things to try. We were talking about this the other day, and your advice was to really focus on a few that really work for you. You really went into GPTs, Chat GPT, OpenAI. Can you talk a little bit about your chosen and why you went there and why you stay there or why you don't stay there?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like Open AI, which let's call Chat GPT an app, right? Within the platform. To my
OpenAI.
OpenAI is the parent company. Chat GPT is one of their apps. Sora is one of their apps. DALL-E is one of their apps. What I find awesome about OpenAI is that you can create your own apps, GPTs, like generative pre-trained transformers. Think that's what GPT means. I can create a language model that can be private. So OpenAI cannot pull information from it. I can train it, like if I have a new project with a client, I can upload a bunch of documents and go in and interact with it. And it doesn't pull bullshit from the internet. So personally, like OpenAI, I love very much. Midjourney is pretty good and is one that I'm also subscribed to like create prototypes and art direction and things like that. Totally good. Also pay for that. I feel like in the last couple of weeks, I've been playing with Runway ML, which I
don't even know about it yet.
I don't know if it's a Google thing, but the thing about Runway ML, I was able to use Midjourney to create a casting call. Like I pretty much did a freaking photo shoot, which was insane.
Wow.
So I created all these personas, put them into Runway ML. I turned them into like crocheted characters and created all of these scenes and video, which is so wild.
Get out. Wow, that's nuts.
It's so crazy. And I will come back to Midjourney in the last couple of days. They just launched video as well. I haven't dabbled with it, but then there's also VO3 from Google, which does text to prompt.
Yeah.
And,
oh, wow. Okay.
And you can basically make a freaking movie. It's a little pricey, but compared to filming a movie, it's not.
Right. Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
But you have to be intentional about what you want to do with it in order to pay for it. And really, like if you're just dabbling in movies.
I would say, or Allison, I would say, or not, right? Could you just take a bong rip and just go for it? I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
guys, it's
you know what I mean? I mean, sure, yeah, Michelle, yes, of course, right? But I just feel like a lot of these things are just like, I wonder what would happen if, and then you get this crazy
I'm thinking about all the different platforms I want to try. And if I
Yeah.
have to pay for each one of them, they're not cheap.
They're not cheap.
They're not cheap. And so you have to choose which bong you want to take a rip off of.
Yeah, right. Well, you want sativa or do you want some Sensibia or
You can try
yeah, what do
it.
you
Look at
want?
me,
Yeah.
maybe one each month, you know?
Girl Scout cookies? Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I feel like we have so many more tools available
Yeah.
to us. And I don't know, it's kind of scary. When I dipped into VO3, I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
I am not going to have a job because
Oh,
a marketing person could
right.
just type in what they want and it looks so real.
Yikes.
It
I was
looks
on
so good.
I was on
Yeah.
a shoot last week or a couple of weeks ago, Allison, and it was product photography, but in situ product. So we had live models, and we were obviously at a house, and we were shooting speakers. And the photographer's going, he goes, I don't know how much longer I'm going to have a job. He goes, because he goes, here's what we were like. We were in a scenery. He goes, there's going to come a day where you're going to type in the product name that you have in your library,
Yeah.
and you're gonna it's gonna look literally like it's gonna plop it in your scene that right compensate for lighting, compensate for like a treatment, like all that stuff. He goes, I don't know. He said, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna have a job.
Yeah, I am. I just got invited to do beta testing for a new one called Love Art. So
Yeah.
it's like Love Art, but it's for creative direction. You can basically build a whole brand with it. I'm not sure how good it is yet. I haven't tried it. But same thing, like you could just build the whole brand identity in it. So, yeah.
Are we ready to get existential yet, or are we still talking like
I think we have a spot we're going to get existential. Allison and I-
that felt like a really good place to say what I wanted to say, but I think I'm gonna hold it because I'm sure we all have things to say about that.
Well, I don't want you to lose it.
I'll
Are you sure?
yeah. I'll just yeah.
Okay.
We'll come back because I know we're all thinking the same thing.
We're going to talk about it. And
No.
one of the things I wanted to talk about real quickly was, diving into what you were saying, Allison, about building the GPT. So disclosure here is you built a GPT for me several months ago.
Yeah.
And that was really awesome. So you did that. You took 10 of my Substack articles and you told me about it. You fed them into the GPT and you batted around and you yelled at it and then massaged it and did everything that you said you needed to do with it. And you created a GPT that I'm using right now, not at this moment, but that is pretty damn amazing. It's like it can reword things if I want it to be more concise. It writes like me.
Oh.
But, it has to be, I add and change and massage it. But you also want to talk about that and vibe coding because that's a new thing because every week there's these new terms. And lately of the last few weeks here, vibe coding is a thing. Rick Rubin already has a book out called The Way of Code, which he's taking basically Lao Tzu's, The Way, and already has a book that's only online digitally to talk about vibe coding. And that's how fast everything is moving, very quickly. So, but to me, vibe coding is that. You verbally talk. You don't type it. You tell it what you want. And I put those two together. Is that vibe coding in a sense?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. I think first of all, I feel like over the last year getting into all the AI stuff, I'm a typer that types like this because I failed science and history, so I didn't take a typing class in high school. I am the worst. I am so, so bad. And I feel like, especially with AI, it is so conversational that I now have shortcuts on my keyboard to just speak, which I recommend for everyone.
Oh.
Can you talk about what vibe coding is just for the audience and maybe Bob needs?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's, I don't know, basically instead of doing code, you can just boss around a language model and it'll pump out what you need. Even if you're a person that works with Python, which I will say I don't know much about, but even if you need code, you can now verbally ask a language model to provide that for you,
Yikes.
which is wild. Like software engineers are like, they're screwed.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why there's so many layoffs here in the Bay Area
Mm.
industry. And everybody was like, we told all of our kids to go to college and learn how to code for the last 10, 15
Right.
years. And
No,
there's nothing for them.
no, now you just have to have an idea, a vision, and good direction, and you're cool. You're fine.
So how has this worked? I mean, so that's the piece I need to learn next is how to create my own GPT. Because I'm using one that was made for me, which made you really valuable, which is
Oh, Michelle, it is so easy. It is so fucking easy. I'll share my screen and show you.
yeah.
Wow.
We'll
How?
do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to know, how has it so far changed your work? And I mean, another question would be, how do you see it changing your work in the future? But that's a pretty big question, and we can kind of talk about that in the rest of the conversation. But how has it changed your work to date immediately?
To date, I have, so yesterday.rip is pretty much me, and I would hire a strategist, marketing consultant, like hire other people. And to date, I have built a new business person. I have built a CFO. I have built like all of the admin. So a single person that can build and direct an entire studio, you're good.
Wow.
It's so fast too. Like, again, like I said, when I get a request for proposal, I just dump it in the thing, turn on the mic, say a few things from the conversation that we had, or copy and paste the Zoom transcription, throw it in, and it'll jam out.
A statement of work.
An RFP. Wow.
Scope of work.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
so crazy.
How does the CFO one work?
I'll share it with you.
Oh my
He's the value negotiator, and that's a thing that is starting to come up now, is how to build AI agents who basically act like an operations manager and pull in all of your different GPTs. But yeah, the I currently do it manually. So I'll go in my scope of work, GPT, work it out, copy and paste, and then put it in my value negotiator, who will give me feedback on the scope of work. And then I'll bring it back to and just bounce back and forth. It's insane.
Yikes.
Oh my gosh. I feel like all of my old coworkers are going to hate me for sharing this.
Right.
But the truth.
It's out there.
Well, this is we were talking about kind of the good and the bad, the good, the bad, the ugly. And so I want to dig into both of those sides. And, I call it the kind of the yin and the yang as well, because for me, especially as a martial artist, the black and the white, the dark and the light, they all exist together, can't exist without each other. And so we have to learn how to work with them in tandem, right? And so thinking about, I want to go into the dark. I want to go into the dark side. And so I actually have AI agents on our other side. But I want to talk into the rough stuff, the big piece that people are so afraid. And the older we are, they're afraid. I want to talk about generational stuff as well. But I want to talk about what are the things that we are all afraid of. I want to just open that can of worms. I mean, I was telling you that I was listening to a podcast. I listen to a Diary of a CEO podcast pretty regularly. And he had Jeffrey Hinton on, who's the godfather of AI. And he's been speaking up about all these warning signs, regrets, worries, fears, right? Sam Altman's been talking about a lot more of the warnings, more reports of companies saying that they are going to embrace AI, and that some of them have directed their HR departments to make a case for not using AI and choosing to hire a human, so that they would look at an AI option first. So these things are coming up pretty rapidly, and they're starting to freak people out even more. So what are some of the fears? Like, what's more stuff you guys are hearing, or the feelings? What are you feeling? What are you hearing? I want to hear from you too, Bob, because
I'm just soaking it in right now. Because a lot of the stuff, my experience is just practical and then anecdotal, right? Like just looking at like you talking to me, some of the stuff that you were using it for, Allison, is like, oh shit, we're there already, right? I know it's coming. I have the husband of one of my old New Balance athletes is this chief product officer of, I can't remember the name of the app off the top of my head, that creates music for you.
Suno.
Thank you. Yeah.
Right.
Good guy, super good guy. But like, I mean, we have a lot of friends who are musicians. So I'm not so naive to think that like musicians are going to be on the street. That's not what music's about to me. So like, I mean, so there is nothing new under the sun, but this is pretty polished up. This is something. So I'm not like, oh my God, the sky is falling. I was throwing out work, but we do need to like figure out kind of what this means and how to like, what the next thing is. And Michelle, you and I were talking about this, and I'm gonna sound like such an old white man right now, but I remember like when I got my job at Kinko's back in the day, I need to learn how to use the Macintosh because I didn't have money for a stat camera, and I didn't have money. I didn't go to school, and like so, the only way you could make a art or a catalog, you had to get a typeset, you had to get a photo, you had to photograph. Like, so the Mac like was my entree into like I was able to work without all those things for the first time. So I was like, yay, me. But I knew people that were typesetters, and I knew people that ran photostat cameras, and they jobs didn't last very long.
Right.
So I mean, so does this feel like a kind of version of that? Yes, but on like some other plane, like on an existential plane. Like when you're talking about like replacing the CFO with the GPT, like hit the brakes. Let's talk about this. This seems a little more existential than all of that. So that's why I'm so curious to talk to you, Allison, because I know you've been kind of like in this, and I know you're also like a citizen of the world, and I want to hear what your kind of like what your kind of what your take on all of this is, and like over a glass of wine, like off the record, so to speak, right? Like is the world fucked? Should we like all just go like start raising goats or think? Where are you at with
I
this?
had to bring alcohol to this.
Yeah. I think I might have to go get some. Yeah.
But yeah, Allison, please chime in on that.
Well, the first thing I was going to mention is that at least in the US, there was a law passed that any music that was created by generative artificial intelligence is not copyrightable.
Wow.
Which is a huge win for the music industry. And I feel like visually that's probably never going to happen, but just super stoked that for music, that was a thing. And then
That's probably also because the music community is really tight, and it's very specific. I mean, that's some of the things that Bob and I can look into, tap into with NAM, the whole industry there. But yeah, they fought for it pretty early on.
Yeah.
They're very organized and really supportive of their artists in a strong way. I think film is probably very similar too, even though it has its challenges. But actors no, you don't think so? They're not doing
No,
it. More so than us in design, for damn sure. I don't know. What do you think?
I feel like film and design and art, everything's up for grabs.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so proud of the music industry kind of putting that in the stone.
Yeah, I guess so. That's interesting. I mean, I didn't know that piece. I mean, the thing is that what I wanted to say about it is maybe other people don't see it the way I do, but because of the Struktur community, I hear a lot of people's stories. And I have really felt like design, whether it be graphic, apparel, any kind of brand stuff in our industry, we've been one of the canaries in the coal mine. So our industry has had other challenges, but there have been a lot of layoffs, a lot of people our age, leadership in design, looking for work, hustling, no longer with the full-time jobs at a time that they really need them. There's a lot more of them than people realize. And so it has already, and I've heard other people, one of the writers I follow, Ted Gioia, he's talked about that. He's a culture writer. He comes from the music industry, but he talks about all culture. And he's talked about that as the artists and creatives have been the first people hit so far in a big way. Now coders are too, but we've already been hit for a while. And I have friends at some of the big brands who are leading, and they've said to me, Michelle, I'm really scared. I see that we're not hiring the young people. There's no pathway in for people coming out of school. So it's already beginning, and we're thinking, how is this happening? I don't even see.
Well, I feel like God bless you, Allison, because I feel like everything I'm about to say, like you've talked about with 20 other people already, and like, so I appreciate your. But I do feel like I feel like design is. How do I say this succinctly? I feel like it was already kind of sliding towards commodification in the first place, which is why it's been such easy pickings for AI, because it's just like, well, if it's already like just slop or soup anyway, and it's just a pastiche, and it's just like, oh, like top 5 website, top 5 font websites. Everyone's using the same fonts. Everyone's using the same photo direction. So why wouldn't you just use an AI agent to do that? So, I mean, I feel like that's like we kind of brought that on ourselves, right? I feel like
the AI slop.
Yeah,
Let's
the
talk
slop.
about, I mean, even what John Oliver on Last Week Tonight was talking about, did a whole report on AI slop.
Yeah.
It's a term now. Allison,
Slop.
talk to us about AI slop. Your feeling about what it is.
Gosh.
Because it is that. It's just cranking out a whole bunch of.
Well, and it was Bland's 5-7 years ago, right? Bland's like all these brands that kind of like they're disrupting and they all use the same font. They all use the same, so like I said, like it's been the slow tumble towards commodification has been going on for a while. So, I mean, so like I said, like, why wouldn't you just have an AI agent, like just create it all for you? Because like, that's how important original thought is. And like, why would you waste time?
I feel like with the rise of social media, I will start with Facebook and Instagram, where brands are creating content that is meant to live for 5 seconds. And it either has to work or not. And then throw TikTok on top of that, where the shittier it looks, the more authentic it seems.
Right.
Design, like the design that me and Bob have studied for so long and have been trying to protect for so long is not relevant anymore. It's super hard.
I had my chief marketing officer this morning, like we're doing a new campaign. And so I designed the typography and the look and feel, and I sweat that shit. I sweat the shit. Anyway, so we got some rough cuts back from the film editor, and he just destroyed all the type. And I figured, well, that's okay. It's more about the edits. It's not about the type, right? And my CMO was trolling me. He goes, well, the type doesn't really matter anyway. But for a hot second, maybe it is probably a lot of me. Like, I'm probably just like, what do you mean? Like, he was able to troll me because yes, it does. What are you talking about? Right. But like, there was a part of me that like fell for it because I thought like nobody cares.
No, but that's the thing.
Right?
If it is too polished, it seems inauthentic.
Well, the irony, you'll love this. Like the way I polish is by making it look shittier. So, but artfully so, right? I gave it a little Gaussian blur. I gave it some Gaussian blur and like a little bit of grit and grain and some tooth. It has some tooth. You know what I mean? So that's how I polish. But no, you're right. Point taken, right?
So, but for you, Allison, you were saying, no, you polish or what,
Oh, the way I do design, I try to make it look good and right by the standards, which is interesting to say out loud. The standards of the past, like Sol Bass, Paul Rond, like I'm just trying to do good.
All our friends, right?
Yeah, just trying to do good design, but
Yeah.
Honestly, what resonates now is shitty, crappy
Yeah.
influencer designed with whatever stickers
Right.
they put on it. And
Yeah.
I don't know, like, fuck AI. I'm more threatened by that.
By that,
Well,
well, right.
you're talking about people's lack of ability to see. And I mean, I just wanted to say the same thing is happening, obviously, in apparel. And I like how you say we've already set ourselves up for it. We set ourselves up a while ago, pre-COVID, by starting to do all these basics, brands that start doing lots of basic types of clothing. And so all this, I mean, Allison, you didn't design the clothes for the brand now and AU, but they were a brand that did unique, unusual types of lines and design that us as apparel designers were like, yes, let's wedge that right open and do something really different.
Yeah.
And everything has gone super, super simple so it can be manufactured very quickly and cheaply and keep the price up. Right. And so now we're paying for things and the price has gone up, or then we've got, Shein and Temu are hopefully going to go, but whatever. But that has happened with apparel too. So then why do you need designers to do that? When you can just crank out basics, right? So we're in the same boat there. And how do you know when something is new? How do you know when something is AI? It's not just regurgitated. So I always talk about the kind of the shiny object. We get really into like going for the shiny object. I call it the shiny shitty object. That in shittification, which is a word now in Wikipedia.
Yeah.
You can.
Oh,
It's a real thing. And shittification is, just everything is getting shittier and shittier.
first words. I love
And
it.
people just accept it. They allow it in. So, you and I were talking about also the AI thing about now, how do we use it? Now, when we talk about this fear, I said AI and the art of replacing people. One of the things I was thinking about was the talk we've been having about a shared reality. Like we're no longer really having a shared reality where we used to watch the same shows and we had the same shared reality. Now we don't, and we all are in our own algorithms and we're all seeing a different kind of world. But when it comes to the AI thing, we're starting to come together and have this shared reality of holy shit, what do we do? What do we do? And what I'm starting to see are these small groups of people banding together. There's the rise of the new Luddites, right? There's this whole rise of kids wanting to get rid of their phones and going for a flip phone. What Nokia, they just said they're reviving Nokia to bring back the old original phone that they did. Because kids, they said, well, we can't use smartphones in school anyway, so let's just get a phone. So there's a kind of a Luddite kind of a mentality coming around to shun it in a way. And that's kind of the opposite to me. It's like, well, okay, then we're not delving in and doing something with it, right? So to think about that, I want to move into the human side, from the dark side to the human side. And, Allison, what you were talking about with garbage in, garbage out, right?
Yeah.
AI is only as good as we put into it until it's not. What are your thoughts on all of that?
The garbage in, garbage out was a comment that I made in the talk that I did at the University of Utah and AIGA Austin of I'm super scared for design students right now who don't have AI integrated into the curriculum. I feel like they will be like me when I was 25 and I missed the web e-commerce wave. I feel like for kids that are like 3, 4, 5, 6, it'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Yep.
It'll become a huge part of it.
Can we talk about the generational piece that we talked about the other day? That's because I loved how you went through the different generations. And you're starting already with kids today, the kids in school. So that's Gen, is that Gen Alpha? And then there's next, who? So let's kind of
Further back.
further.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the different generations and how you feel about each one. And I want Bob to hear some of that as well.
Oh, God. I feel like, I don't know, kids, they're like 15, 16. They'll probably jump on. They will be fine. Universities or colleges, if
Boy. Yeah.
I shouldn't even say this because I work for a
Say it.
All right, I'll say it. If
See-
universities are even a thing that
Right.
people need, they'll be okay. I feel like recent graduate, I feel really scared for them. I feel like we're all Gen X, we're all the same group. I feel like AI is such a powerful tool for us because we can build things with our knowledge.
Right.
The thing about college students is they don't have any knowledge yet. So for them to build anything that's actually good, again, garbage in, garbage out,
Right.
they're
Right.
probably just going to be shoving in garbage.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like that's part of what's, if I let myself go there and think about it, that's the thing that's upsetting is as we all know, the opposite of love isn't hate, it's apathy. And it's like, I don't care. It's like not caring about Saul Bass or not caring about Alvin Lustig or or not like what? This sounds so corny, but I was enraptured by these. I don't know about you, but I used to get Emigre magazine and just tear it to pieces. Right. And I was just like, so when I work with other 80s and CDs who don't have that knowledge or that curiosity about that, where that stuff came from, I'm flummoxed. I just don't understand why you would be involved in this business of communication and art and inspiration and passion and not be aware of those stories of those people. And then on top of all that, then let's just go ahead and dogpile and doom scroll our lives away. And then so now you're a kid in school, and not only are you overwhelmed by, the Instagram feed and what the fuck is TikTok, right? Or whatever, right? Fine. But where are your roots? What are you drawing from to tell your story? Or do you even care about your story? And that's the thing. It's like all these these existential crises aren't even crises, which is even more alarming, right? If you think about it, the fact that you don't even care is just so upsetting to me.
Yeah, and I think there's a caring piece. I mean, Allison, what you just said about Gen X, it just hit me further, is that while you were talking about how we can really use these tools to share our knowledge, because we are in that place now where we need to move into sharing our crystallized knowledge. We have a lot, and Gen X as a group doesn't share a lot. We keep it very private and amongst ourselves.
Really? Maybe I'm a millennial then. Oh my gosh.
Right.
Well, you might be a little closer to, but what I mean is that we're not as used to putting our lives on Instagram, sharing everything that we're not used to living on a screen. But we are the generation that straddles both worlds, the old world and the new. We are that place that we can understand a bit more of the digital and we can embrace it a lot easier. And we have a lot of knowledge that can help guide younger people. So I think that's important because there's a lot of people in our generation who are embracing AI, and there's even more who aren't. So
there will be a time within open AI where if you create a custom GPT, you'll be able to monetize it.
Wow. Interesting. Why wouldn't you be?
Pretty soon, I think.
How do you know that?
Because a lot of people are doing it right now. And I feel like open AI is going to want to monetize that
Right.
and
Right.
encourage people to share
Do that.
their knowledge. Currently, like Michelle, the GPT that I built for you is private. I've only shared it with you.
Is that protected? Or can you protect it?
When it's completely closed and
Yeah.
shared, yes, I will say to everyone into AI, you definitely have to go and click a bunch of things
Yeah.
to make sure it's private. But yeah, it's private
Yeah.
because I put Michelle's articles, her
Okay.
tone of voice.
So then it is ownable and protectable.
Yes,
Interesting.
Wow.
for now.
For now.
For now, right?
And I think that's an interesting thing to think about. And this is where people want to jump all over because of what you talked about, in 2005, 6, when the whole, internet bubble was happening in the 90s. It's like those are the people that got to monetize all kinds of things in different ways. And then at a certain point, I mean, if you watch, what's his name? Shoot, the founder of what's that?
Walt Disney.
No, the
Uh,
Patreon. He did a great talk at South by Southwest
yes.
about the whole YouTube algorithm and how that changed and how that could monetize and how it shifted. And so you see that these things have a certain life where you can go in and really build something, and then the gates kind of close.
Right.
And some people get to stay in, and a lot of people just get shut out of it, and it changes. And it continues to change. I used to monetize on YouTube, and they moved the goal line and just kicked me out. And so that's going to continue because I wasn't making enough. They moved the monetization minimums of views and people.
Interesting.
And they keep doing that. So that's going to shift too. So so Gen X is in a good spot. We talked about boomers being off the charts, just not necessary.
No, they're gone. No.
And then we talked about, millennials, Gen Z are kind of caught in there in the soup of.
If they don't take a month to do what I did and completely wrap their heads around it, they're fucked.
Wow.
And you too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know I've done a few courses, and I will say even just doing some of the LinkedIn learning courses or the MIT stuff where you just see how an AI gets its information, like how it distills all the information is just, it's basic, but it helped.
Well, after this podcast, give me an hour and I'll get you up to speed.
Okay. You got to start teaching some classes here, girl.
Yeah.
I need to do a structure class, but we can start.
Super interested in that.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
I want to talk about agents. So, because that's the new agent. Agents, everything is agents, and that feels like it's already kind of well talked about and we'll be moving through. But all the types of agents, I'm hearing new terms every day. Talk a little bit about agents.
My understanding of agents is the ability to create a manager that can dip into multiple LMs. That's it. Just someone who can manage it. I feel like even if you, from my experience, I don't know. I'm not an expert, you guys. I don't even know why you had me here, but
Because you know more than we do, and that
only a little bit. I feel like whenever I use OpenAI's Chat GPT in the highest level, again, I pay for it, so I have access. And the highest model has, I feel like I kind of want to look at it.
What's an LM?
Language model.
So the and LLM is large language. Got to make sure everybody knows because that's not always common knowledge to everybody.
No, good.
Yeah.
Good point. I feel like when I use the model that has advanced reasoning, I can ask a question and then multiple models will be talking to
Right.
each other, trying to figure out the right response, which is so scary.
Right.
So wild.
That's what I wanted to talk about. We talked about the trust issue. And one of the things that the godfather of AI, Jeffrey Hinton, was saying is we're not going to be having just like one agent or two agents or a handful of agents. Everyone's going to have multiple of their own. We're going to have billions of agents.
Wow.
And they're all going to be talking to each other. And one of the things they were saying is, I was listening to another podcast that was talking about, well, if you think about humans talking to each other, the story sharing, one person says this and this person takes it like this and then tells this person. And by the time it gets around, the story has changed quite a bit because everybody puts it through their own filter. And that's what agents are going to do. So that you're going to basically have all these different things kind of coming in with their own perspective, but they're not real. They're just pulling from their information.
Right. Allison, talk to me about hallucination in AI.
Wait, what?
Well, because AI hallucinates, right? It makes up things that are like, it kind of goes off on.
Oh, I fight with AI so much.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's also a point I made in my presentation. If you have to fight and you're like, no, this is bullshit. This
Right.
is not true. You are smarter than AI. But yeah, no, it pumps out shit. It
Yeah.
pumps out garbage. And again, this is the thing I was saying earlier, that for my students who are graduating this year,
They don't know.
they don't fucking know.
No.
And it's awful. Us, we know. We can be
Right.
like, no, ding dong.
Yeah. No. Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No.
I mean, but it is iterative and it is generative, right? So we'll get better. I feel like we're in the early throes of like some Philip K. Dick novel, right? Like it'll get better and it'll like at some point it'll like.
But it'll only get better if smart humans interact with it. If stupid humans do, no, it'll get dumber.
And they'll fuck up the pool, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder, it occurred to me because I'm working, we all have projects that are like AI adjacent. I certainly do. And one of the big selling points I would say is like, where's your source material? Where are you scraping from? Right. And so what I hear you saying, like when you do something proprietary, you can pick where those sources are coming from.
I feel like personally for clients, I will build a custom GPT. I will input the things they should be sourcing from, and then I can work back and forth with them.
Interesting. Okay.
One of the things I just wrote down from that was not having agency, not giving up your power. So when we're talking about AI, a lot of people are feeling scared of it and powerless, and they think it's like a thing. They think it's like an entity, right? It's this smarter thing, like, wow, it came up with this better than me. And they give away their power.
No, it's a better Google search.
Yeah.
It's a more interactive experience online.
I think I was saying it's like all of us as humans need to move into director leadership positions.
Yeah.
And AI is like your team, your interns, your entry level employees, your people. You need to go have them do the research work or write the work, but you have to check it. It has to go through your filter and then you have to guide them.
Interesting.
And thinking about it that way, it makes us all have to rise up in experience level and leadership level and how to direct. And we already have a problem with.
I was going to say, like, I feel like to zoom out just a little bit, I feel like, like any fear, it's like, unexamined fear is kind of like what's going to get you, right? It's like when you turn right and then you kind of look at it in the eye and like actually talk about what am I scared of here really? And I feel like to me, and this might be an oversimplification. It feels like there's a society which is going to hell, right? Whatever, and then there's technology, right? And so, like when you talk about like people scrolling on TikTok, that is, yeah, that's kind of what do you call it? Not a good thing. Right? Like you want to separate the technology from like the human being, right? So like when you say I want agency, and if I'm going to use AI, I have goals and I have things and I have integrity. I have, I have values, and I don't expect AI to have any of those things, but I do expect AI to do is like I want it to do what I want it to do, and I want it to help me accomplish my goals. And I wanted to do things like write an SOW. God, who wants to write an SOW? Please, I mean, like, fuck that, right? So what I want to do, and the people who I like, the things I respond to positively about AI is when people say like, I want to do the things that I don't want to do, right? Like exactly what you were talking about, your friend told you, right? Oh yeah, right. And then I don't know, then I come out of fucking, I'm sure I want to play with it. I want to be amused by it, but like then but I know who I am as a person, and this is probably going off like bottle rockets in a million different directions. But what I'm trying to say is technology is technology, and people are people, and never the twain shall meet, right? So like we can talk about society and how messed up society is, and like and how technology contributes to that. But like, let's talk about like what are my values, and let's talk about values and how you read with your students, like teach them how to be curious, and teach them passion, and demonstrate that, right? And I've always responded to that. And like I said, I might be a little naive about this, and I'm definitely oversimplifying it. But I feel like that to me is like when I fall asleep and I'm freaked out about AI, I think about that, and that's comforting to me.
And I want
Does that make sense? Is that a big word salad, or does that make some kind of sense to you? Good.
Well, and I wanted to say, my concern and goal and intention for all of this in AI is for the creative community that comes to Struktur and beyond as we grow.
Mhm.
Can see that I've been pushing for creative leadership, for people to move into more of those, to share. That's knowledge sharing. And so encouraging all of us to learn about this and take on exactly this perspective. This is a tool. Get in front of it and start
Yeah.
teaching it and directing it.
Use it.
And right? Because that's what we talked about, Allison. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we've been talking about. Right. And I think on one side, one of the things we do in martial arts is we talk about the paper tiger, which is, exactly what it says. There's all bark and no bite. There's nothing behind it. That person's just a paper tiger. That thing's just a paper tiger. When you look at certain types you listen to AI generated music, AI generated art, any of these designs, what it's missing is the life behind the eyes, right? Like there's no spirit behind it. There's a human energy behind the things we create that give it a life that we can't explain.
That will depend on where culture shifts.
Yeah.
Talk more about that, please.
I feel like shit quality art, ads, music is completely on the uprise. Again, in a society where people have a 5-second attention span. So I don't know about that, Michelle.
And that the ability to be able to see it, be able to tell if something is AI or not, or how you feel about it,
Well, there will become a point where, oh my gosh, I feel like I had some notes earlier, but like Ford trucks built strong by American men, and
Right.
then robots did it. Does anyone care? No one gives a shit.
Right.
MTV and radio. MTV killed the radio star.
Yep.
Or video killed the
I
radio
just
star.
watched something on that today. Somebody did a little documentary on that who wasn't from the MTV generation. And a younger person. It was very interesting. And it's true.
Oh, text it to me. I want to hear it.
Well,
No, there's the innovation is normal and good for humanity. Maybe us ex-geners are feeling a little bit threatened by AI, a little bit concerned about younger generations, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
It'll
That's
be different. I mean, for me, if you ask me 5 years from now, what would be my ideal thing that all right, Bob, we're gonna go around the table and figure out. But like for me, if I worked at fucking garden center
Right.
and told people how to grow plants, I would be so happy. I would be fine. Again, for younger generations, and again, I have no children, so I'm not like thinking beyond myself, but
yeah. And we have different generational. I have a 13-year-old and Bob's kid.
My kids are in their 20s.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
But I mean, I don't feel threatened, frankly. I mean, I'm like, I'm curious and I am, concerned. But like, look at the shit I have on my wall. Like, it's like, it's just like, I love weird shit. Right.
yeah.
And AI is part of that weird shit. But again, like, right. But I like holding things. I like the way they smell. Right. I like the stories behind things. And I've always like whenever I talk, one of my big, you've heard me say this a million times, Michelle, your purchase should be a souvenir of the story you were told. Right. It's like, oh shit, this shirt I got at the game. And that's when, Tani hit that home. Like, right. And my kid was there and it was our first baseball game together. I'm never letting go of this thing. You can't pay me enough money. That's the stuff that I care about. Right. And AI can go fuck itself. It has nothing to do with any of that stuff. Right.
well, listen.
Oh, it'll make your life easier, Bob.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So
Let me teach you.
well, that's what so what I would say is like, I'm not scared of it. I'm actually really curious about it. Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And there's fun conversations we have. And I love talking about life and existential threats and like the end of humanity and fucking, I love a good psychodrama. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and then Allison, 1000% I'm taking you up on because there's some shit I need to know. And I could definitely like learn to do some things quickly and more efficiently. I need to learn how to storyboard because I can't draw worth shit.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Well, this is the kind of thing that when we worry about being valuable or being put out to pasture, it's like, well, I mean,
And just adjust.
one of the things I put in my notes that I wanted to bring up again is I love the writer Ted Gioia because he's on Substack. His thing is called The Honest Broker. He's an older guy. He talks pretty negatively about a lot of
The yellow clouds.
doom scrolling, but he is a culture writer. He studies culture. And he talks with Rick Beato quite often about music.
Another cloud yeller.
Yeah. But one of the things they were
I love him.
I do too.
Oh, yeah.
I do too.
But they're the older guys that stay involved and they bring their knowledge through and they bring a lot of young people into that cross knowledge sharing, which is what we do too. And Ted and Rick get into some really great conversations about the music creative industries. But one of the things they talked about is, only creatives can save us with all of this AI stuff because of our ability to see what doesn't exist.
Well, your David Bowie quote was prescient for this conversation, which probably not very prescient at all. You probably knew exactly what you're saying and why you said it. But I love it. I love that you like it because it's such a tactile, evocative way to describe kind of like what we all feel as creatives, right? Like, God, I just know this is right. When I was at Nike, it would happen to me. And like half the time I was like, sit down and shut up. And that's how I knew I was onto something. Right. It's that like, I can't get this out of my head. I just know it's right. You can see it. You can feel it. You know what it's going to taste like. You know who's going to like it. You know who's going to hate it.
I will repeat it. So tomorrow belongs to those who can hear it coming.
Good bookend.
Yeah.
I'm glad you started it too, because if people don't listen all the way through the podcast, I hear them to be there. I want to know.
I love a good bookend.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not totally ready to bookend it here completely. But one of the things we talked about at the last end of our conversation was, how you feel both the yin and yang of how you feel about AI, the younger generation coming. I'm going to let you say it. You said it a couple different ways, but I want it to come from you.
Perfect. I can try and do it succinctly.
You can do it however you like. Doesn't have to be simple.
Amazing. Thank you, Michelle. I feel like people my age should embrace it, take advantage of it. It's going to make your life easier until retirement. For those that think that AI is going to become this thing that will attack humanity and kill off people, I don't believe that at all. It's a fucking new tool. It's internet, but like 100 times better. That's my opinion on it.
And
What?
there was another side. You said you felt both excited and sad. That really that hit me.
Mm.
And I wanted to share that
No.
because it's also how life is. Because there's excitement and there's sadness. And they coexist. You feel them at the same time.
I'm really trying to decipher humanity's engagement against AI. I am really sad about how shitty, crappy garbage is the most craveable thing right now. I don't think that's an AI thing. It probably will be in 6 months. But yeah. I don't know. Is there something else sad that I said to you?
Well, you were talking about
Knowingly-
kids. I think that's basically like you recapped it with that last statement you made about like just like I feel like AI doesn't create it, but it enables it, and it not only enables a desire that's already there, and I think that's maybe what we were talking about being sad about.
Yeah.
Is it just it facilitates like the race to the bottom, so to speak.
One of the things that somebody said about AI is we can't build a trustworthy AI until we deal with the trust issues among humanity. Basically saying AI is just a reflection of us. And I think that is I see that there's a lot of a general human, as somebody who has studied anthropology over many years, there's a general human shift, genuine human shift towards internal knowledge, self-knowledge, digging into our pasts, our childhood, while at the same time, all this other crazy shit's happening. And we're looking at weird leaders and politicians and crap rising to the top. But we're also seeing a lot of people digging in and learning about themselves and connecting, and especially post-COVID, wanting to really connect in communities and at a more local level. And I tend to really believe that will always prevail in some form, as long as we feed it in that direction and put intention towards that direction. And I think with AI, it's about where we intend for it to go and getting in front of it and driving it, not letting it drive us with fear.
You are cracking open a master class because AI is the opposite of that. You have fake GPTs, agents, whatever, giving you advice and not connecting with people. So I don't know. I feel like so many people in my network think I'm this AI advocate, and I am AI investigator, user, trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course, I see the good sides of it, but yeah, there's a lot of fucking bad that's going to come from it.
I love what you had said in your presentation about your mission for the presentation. And I put, which was
I don't even know.
what your mission for teaching that workshop, maybe your mission for being on this podcast is, what is your mission? What is your AI mission? You know,
Oh God. I feel like you were going to read it to me, but I feel like to make you just curious enough to pay attention. Something like that.
yes, I love that you want to share it and you want people to know and be, like you said, curious enough to learn about it.
Well, I don't want people to get left behind.
Right.
And as I said last May, like last year, I took 1 month. After one day, I was completely crazy, obsessed, and like dove into it. And I feel
Interesting.
like everyone needs to take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
It's a
Plunge
few
into it. Yeah.
a few YouTube videos where you're like, what? It can do that for me. Now, again, when you get further out, as you said at the beginning, Michelle, like there's so many platforms and so many options. And yeah, I can tell you my favorite app building AI, my favorite web AI, my favorite, like whatever. We can go into details, but just understanding that there's so many things that we all have access to. I
Yeah.
feel like people,
I get it, Allison. I think if I can interpret this ambiguity, here goes. Like, because I know you as a creative, I know how curious you are, and I know how driven you are, and I know we like a lot of the same things. We're drawn towards the same sorts of like experiences and things and people. And what I hear you saying is like you were turned on to like the world of AI, right? Like, and it's like there's this thing that's right there. And it has walls that it's contained, and you can take and pick, and it's like a larder. You can choose what you want from it. And I think what you're saying is when you open the door, you couldn't believe like all the shit it could do,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And maybe and supporting the article too is, oh shit, this is coming. And if you don't learn it, you're going to get left behind in a way that you don't want. Right.
exactly.
Right.
And the shit that I was able to code myself
Right.
through conversation.
Right. So you're not an evangelist for Meta. You're not an evangelist. You're an evangelist for like, oh, fucking A, like, oh my God, dude, look at all the shit you can do.
Yeah.
Right. That's the vibe I'm getting from you. Right. And yeah, oh God, yeah, there's all this really shitty stuff too. And I'm really worried about our kids, but I would be worried about the kids anyway. Right. Frankly. Right. But here's this thing. Right. So that's like, whether you meant to do this or not, now I'm really fired up to go fucking learn about this shit. Cause like I have enough anecdotal knowledge and you connected some dots for me. And it's like, shit, there's some stuff I want to do that I'm not very good at, or like don't want to do just straight up. That'll let it
accomplished.
Right. So like, yeah, let me at it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you, Allison, for doing that. Because I also feel much more.
You're not the AI guru. You're just the AI Pied Piper.
Perfect. I love that. Perfect.
Yeah.
Any last words?
Oh my gosh. Last words.
That sounds so final.
Usually you use your quote for the last word.
I know. So
Just ask.
I will repeat it. So tomorrow belongs to those who can hear it coming. I will also say, again, David Bowie. Michelle, if you're okay, I'm going to repeat Keanu Reeves. Those who love you will miss you very much when you die.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's from our first podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you for repeating that.
I love Keanu Reeves. I love him even more now.
I don't know. I just feel like it's something that people need to know and remember.
Yeah.
Bob, Bob.
Quote. What do I have? Oh, here it is.
Do you
Slow down, enunciate, speak clearly. There it is right there.
Oh, good
Okay.
job,
All
Bob.
right.
It's because I get so excited and the words just start tumbling out, and I need to remember to slow down so I can communicate my ideas effectively. But no,
Right.
it's really fun. I love spending time with you, Allison. It's always so thought provoking. And Michelle, thanks as always for being the thought pimp here. You always
called that before.
no, you bring people together and we have great conversations. And
No, it's wonderful. Yeah.
I love this shit.
You have been listening to UnStruktured, the podcast from Struktur Society. If you enjoyed this episode, please download, share, like, subscribe, and add your thoughts and suggestions in the comments. Also, please consider a Substack paid subscription to help us bring even more meaningful content and connection points to you and our creator community. Here you will find articles and news, as well as the podcast and additional content. We cannot grow without you. Thanks for listening, and talk to you soon.